Hello, Carl here with Sustainability Theory News. We're over at the University of Michigan's Health Lab. They have a study on using ginger to help treat autoimmune disorders. Now, this study was done in mice, and they have shown that it helps halt the progression of I can't pronounce it, but basically, it's for lupus and other autoimmune disorders. It stops the inflammation cycle from getting out of control. That's how many autoimmune disorders really affect people, is the immune system attacks the body itself, different parts of the body, like arthritis. The immune system's attacking the joints. Well, it all comes back to inflammation, a lot of doctors believe, and that's where ginger comes in. There's a chemical in ginger that helps lower inflammation. Now, of course, this is a mouse study, and there's over 900 plus autoimmune disorders, so this probably doesn't work for all of them. But look at the studies. Talk to your doctor. Look at all sorts of ways you can lower inflammation. Some people believe in turmeric extracts with pepperines and whatnot, and there's been some studies that show that it does indeed lower inflammation. So, of course, talk to your doctor, do your research, look at the studies. Another study, the Rockefeller University study of 50,000 people finds brown fat may protect against many diseases. Now, their study looked at over 50,000 cancer patients and their PET scans. This is a picture of one of those PET scans. The person on the left here, these little dots are deposits of brown fat. And it was present in about 10% of the patients in this study. And they think that might be an underestimate of how many people actually have brown fat, because the patients were told to avoid, I think it was cold weather, caffeine, and exercise, because that is cold exposure, exercise, and caffeine. They're thought to help increase brown fat activity. But the people that had brown fat they had a lot better conditions. For example, about half as many had type 2 diabetes, a lot less had abnormal cholesterol, and they were less likely to have hypertension, congestive heart failure, or coronary artery diseases. Well, that sounds like it could be a good thing. But brown fat versus white fat, we really are scratching the surface. There's a lot more information that we don't know about than what is out there right now. We need to study that even further. But if you have any knowledge on brown fat or white fat, or can point to some studies on the subject, please leave it in the comments below. Last study on regenerative grazing, how it complicates climate optimism. Well, that's their own little opinion on it, but basically it talks about a farmer in Georgia who has 3,000 acres and raises pigs, chickens, and cows, rotates them continually on the land, similar to the Joel Salatin model, and which produces a whole lot of meat, a whole lot of calories per acre, more than the worldwide average, which is kind of confusing on the study, because they talk about how it does produce less carbon. It captures more carbon, produces 66% less greenhouse gas emissions, but it requires 2.5 times more land. Well, Joel Salatin, he produces a whole lot of acres. I believe or something like 800 pounds of meat per acre per year, which is about 10 times the worldwide average, because most of the land is used to produce, say, the corn or the soybeans that is used to feed the cattle in conventional agriculture. And that's a lot of land. And not only that, you have all the fertilizers and pesticides and everything, the trucking of the seed to the field, and then the grain from the field to the marketplace. Well, that's a whole lot of energy being used up. I'm not sure if they took that into account in this study, but it is certainly interesting. It talks about rotating animals in the pasture, multi-species grazing, helps rebuild soil. He talks about how his soil is a lot better than his neighbor's soil. His soil's black, neighbor's soil's red. And it regenerated a farm that was decimated by industrial agriculture. I believe it was cotton and peanuts. Yeah, cotton and peanut production. You use a lot of tillage, a lot of chemicals, kills the biological organisms in the soil, kills the soil itself. Eventually, you're going to have to let it lay fallow for a while, or use animals to help regenerate the soil. Well, their periodic grazing, or mob grazing is another term, really helps uh, build organic matter in the soil and thus increasing the amount of life in the soil. So I'm going to have links in the description below. If you like what you see, hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, let me know why in the comments below. If you'd like to see more videos like this, subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.